generation of computers. First generation. The first generation computer used virtual bits for digital logic elements and memory. The most famous first computer was the AIS computer, with a fundamental design approach known as the stored program concepts, usually attributed to John von Neumann, though Alan Turing developed the idea about the same time. The first publication of the computer was around 1946 for a new computer, the EDIVA, the electronic discrete variable computer. In 1946, John von Neumann and his colleagues began the design at Princeton Institute for Advanced Studies, although not completed until 1952. The structure of the AIS computer, as proposed by von Neumann, was as follows. First, since the device was primarily a computer, it was to perform the basic arithmetic, so it had to include a central arithmetic part, i.e. the ALU. The logic control of the device and proper sequencing of operations could be most efficiently carried out by a central organ, thus included a control unit. Third, any device that is to carry out long, complicated sequences of operation must have a considerable memory, so it included a main memory. The device was to have organs that transfer information into specific parts, and this contributed the input devices, and organs that transfer information out of specific parts, and this contributed the output devices. The control unit operated by fetching instructions from memory and executing them one at a time in reference to the memory buffer register. This could contain a word to be stored in memory or sent in the input unit, or was used to receive a word from memory or from the input unit. Memory address register. This could specify the address in memory of the word to be written or read from the memory buffer register. The instruction register. This could contain the 8-bit opcode instruction being executed. The instruction buffer register. This used to hold temporarily the right instruction from the word in memory. The program counter. This could contain the address of the next instruction pair to be fetched from memory. The accumulator and the multiplier quotient used to hold temporary operands and results of the ALU. The second generation. The first electronic computer came with the replacement of virtual chips with transistors. A transistor, which is a small chip and generated less hits. The transistor was invented at Bell Labs in 1947, and by the 1950s, it had launched an electronic revolution. It was not until the late 1950s that fully transistorized computers were available on the markets with complex arithmetic and logic control units, increasing the processor speed by a factor of 50 times more than the virtual cubes. These computers supported the use of both assembly and high-level languages, that is Fortran and COBOL, among others. Case study of the most important member of the second generation was the IBM 709 that included an instruction backup register that could buffer the next instruction, i.e. hold the next instruction that was to be processed. The control units fetches two adjacent words from the memory, one instruction, and the prefetching scheme reduces the average instruction cycle time. The configuration of the IBM 709 showed a number of differences from the AIS computer. The most of these was the use of data channels. A data channel is an independent input-output module which has its own processor and instruction set. With such devices, the CPU doesn't execute a detailed detailed input-output instructions, rather store rather store the instructions in the memory that are to be executed by by a special purpose processor uh, in the data channel itself. The CPU initiates an input-output transfers. The CPU initiates the input-output transfer by sending a signal to the data channel, instructing it to execute a sequence of instructions in memory, and the data channel also sends a signal when it's done executing. Another feature of the second generation computers, specifically the IBM 7094, was the multiplexer with the central terminal points for data channels, the CPU, and the memory. The multiplexer was used to schedule time and access to the memory from the CPU and data channels, allowing these devices to operate independently. A picture of the second generation computer, the third generation computers. The third generation, the period of the third generation was from 1965 to 1971. The computers of this generation used small or medium integrated circuits. These were invented by Jack Kibley. The ICs are composed of many electronic elements such as transistors, capacitors, and resistors in circuits with gates and memory cells, exploiting the fact that these electronic elements could be fabricated from a semiconductor such as silicon. Since the basic elements of a digital computer is to perform data storage, movement, processing, and control functions, only two fundamental types of components are required, i.e. the gates and memory cell. A gate is a device that implements a simple Boolean or logic function. And a memory cell is a device that can store 1 bit of data. The four basic functions were distributed as follows. Data processing was done by the memory cell, data storage was done by the memory cell, data processing by the gates, data movement by the path among the elements, and control was done by signals from the path that would activate the gates. Since the gates cannot perform the logic, cannot perform the logic or the Boolean functions without being switched on or off. The features of the third generation included a reduced size as compared to the earlier computers. Computers of the third generation generated less heat as compared to earlier computers, and the processing speed of third generation computers increased significantly. The fourth generation. The period of the fourth generation was approximated to be between 1972 and 1979. The computers of the fifth generation used very large integrated circuits, having about 5,000 transistors and other elements in circuits on a single chip, and this made it possible to have microcomputers. They became powerful, compact, reliable, and affordable. As a result, it gave to the rise of personal computers. In this generation, time sharing, real-time networks, distributed operating system were used. All high-level languages, that is C, C++, DBase, etc., were used. The fifth generation, period of the fifth generation is from the 1980s till date, and ultra large integrated technology is used, resulting in the production of microprocessor chips having billions of electronic components, that is transistors, capacitors, among others. This generation is based on parallel processing hardware and artificial intelligence software. Artificial intelligence is a branch in computer science which interprets means and methods of making computers think like human beings. In this generation, all high-level languages are used: Python, Java, C++, PHP, HTML, among others. The artificial intelligence includes robotics, neural networks, natural language understanding softwares. The features of the fifth generation include ultra-large technology, ultra-large scale integration technology, artificial intelligence, natural language processing, and parallel processing. Question 2. The evolution of Intel x86 and the 8 architecture. Using this model, Intel has developed and delivered next generation silicon technology as well as new microprocessor architecture for the past 7 years. Below is the Intel product line, the 8080. This was the world's first general purpose microprocessor, and it was an 8-bit machine. The 8086, a far more powerful 16-bit machine, and it supported an instruction patch that fetches the instruction before they are executed, and it had large registers. The 8086. This was an extension of the 8086, enabling 16 megabytes of memory rather than the 1 MB of memory. The 8086, the Intel's 32-bit machine with a 32-bit architecture. It supported multitasking. The 8086. It introduced the use of more powerful patch technology, sophisticated instruction pipelining, and it also offered an inbuilt smart processor, offloading the complex operations from the CPU. The Pentium. It involved the use of superscalar techniques, which allowed multiple instructions to be executed in parallel. The Pentium Pro used superscalar organization with aggressive use of register, renaming, batch prediction, data analysis, speculation, and speculative execution. Pentium 2, which incorporated the MMX technology to process video, audio, and graphics data efficiently. The Pentium 3, it incorporates additional floating point instructions, and also the streaming SIMD extensions instruction sets extension, and it added 70 new instructions. The Pentium 4 includes additional floating points and other enhancements for multimedia. The core, it's the first Intel x86 multiple microprocessor with a dual core, referring to the implementation of cores on a single chip. The core 2 extends core architecture to a 64 bits, and it provides 4 cores on a single chip. An important addition to the architecture was the advanced vector extension set that provided a set of 256 bits and then 512 bit instructions for efficient processing of vector data. Evolution of the ARM architecture. ARM is a family of reduced instruction set computer-based microprocessors and microcontrollers designed by the ARM Holdings, Cambridge, in England. ARM chips are high-speed processors that are known for their small size and low power requirements. They are widely used in smartphones and other handheld devices. The origins of the ARM architecture technology uh, can be traced back to the British-based Acorn company, computer company, in the early 1980s. Acorn was given a contract by the British Broadcasting Company, the BBC, to develop a new microcomputer architecture for the company literacy project. And Acorn developed the first commercial RISC processor, the reduced instruction set computer processing, and it was named Acorn Reduced Instruction Set Computer Machine, in brackets ARM. The first version, ARM1, began operation in 1985 and was used for internal research and development, as well as being used as a processor in the BBC machine. In the early stage, Acorn used the company very large-scale integrated circuit technology to do actual fabrication of the processor chips. VLSI was licensed to market the chip on its own and had some success in getting other companies use the ARM in their products, particularly as an embedded processor. The ARM design matched a growing commercial need for high performance, low power consumption, small size, and low cost processor for embedded applications. But further developments were beyond the scope of Acorn capabilities, and a new company was organized with Acorn, VLSI, and Apple Computer as partners, and it was called ARM Limited, short for Acorn Reduced Instruction Set Computer Machine, that was later turned to Advanced RSIC Machine Company Limited.